I don't want to teach you how to entertain people on piano. I want to teach you how to captivate people on piano. How to play those blazing fast arpeggio runs, those crazy octave sweeps, those beautiful left-hand patterns, all that stuff that just moves people to tears, that makes people's jaws hit the floor. I want to take you from a beginner or intermediate piano player to that next level where you're really a piano superhuman and captivating audiences. That's what I teach in this course. It's called Project Captivate, and I'll get to all the details below. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can learn a song in 10 minutes, and not a Mary Had a Little Lamb, but a really captivating, cool sounding song using what I like to call the Lego block method. And the Lego block method is something all the big YouTube guys use. Anybody you see posting a video once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, they're all using the Lego block method. And once you know it, it actually isn't as hard as it may first seem. I'm also going to tell you guys about the 4 ingredients you have to use when you're learning any kind of advanced technique, any crazy arpeggio run. And the problem when people learn this is there's always one of the ingredients they're missing. And this one ingredient, I used to get so frustrated because I could never learn songs and never learn the hard parts of songs. But once I learned that one ingredient, it became a lot easier. And I'm going to share with you the 4 ingredients. I'm also going to tell you guys how using the Lego block method completely eliminated my performance anxiety. I used to not even be able to play in front of my family. Now I can play in front of tons of people, no problem, people that are strangers that I've never played in front of before. But first, let me show you just 15 to 20 seconds of some of the cool techniques, the cool strategies you're gonna learn in Project Captivate. Now, I know you might have watched a video and thought, there's no way I could learn a lot of that stuff if you're more of a beginner piano player. But let me tell you, once you know the ingredients to learn stuff like this, it's actually a lot easier than it looks. And I'm going to tell you about these right now. And also, I also have a link below that shows everything in Project Captivate. Those were just bits and pieces, a couple of the little things. But if you want to see exactly what techniques you're going to learn, you can click on that link and it'll show you all of them. So what are the 4 ingredients? What am I talking about exactly? Okay, so whenever you learn a new, arpeggio run, a new octave flare, anything like that, you're gonna need 4 things. First, you're gonna need the notes, and that's the obvious part. You have to know what notes to play. Now here's the problem. Most people stop at this point. They stop at the notes and they go to their piano and they practice something for hours and hours and they never get it because they never had the other 3 ingredients. So that's just the first ingredient. The second ingredient, now this is the ingredient where most people fail, where most people don't know what to do and are doing it wrong. And you need the proper form and the proper motion. And here's what I mean by that. So let me tell you a story. I was learning this song a long time ago, back when I was teaching myself to play. And the song wasn't that hard, but there was one arpeggio run that just killed me and I could not play it. And I'm the type of person, I just thought, I can't play it, I must need to practice it more, So I would sit in that practice room for hours and hours drilling in this same arpeggio run, and I could never get it up to speed. And I remember then I switched my major to music, and when I was getting my degree, I asked my piano professor about it, and he was like, why don't you try it more like this? And he showed me this different wrist motion that you have to use when you play that kind of arpeggio run. And it has to do with the rotation of the wrist, and I tried it, and instantly, it was 15 minutes later, I could play at full speed. And I was so mad and so happy at the same time, because it's I finally learned the secret to playing this arpeggio run, but I was so mad that I wasted months and months trying to learn it the wrong way. So that's the second ingredient, is the correct form, the correct motion. And I also teach that in Project Captivate. More about that later, but the third ingredient I want to get to is what I call the accelerated learning techniques. Now, when I first started practicing piano, I would just practice pure repetition. And what I learned is there are little techniques, little strategies, little loopholes that help you learn stuff a ton faster. Basically, think about it like this. Back when you were learning, Spanish vocab words, let's say, the first time you learned them, you went and you repeated them over and over. Maybe you said them out loud over and over and over. You went through your sheet over and over and you learned them, but it took you, maybe an entire, couple days to learn, 30 Spanish words. Then you started using things like acronyms, right? You learn one acronym and all of a sudden in 10 minutes, you can have, 10 to 15 words memorized. It's how I can still remember the order of the planets because I learned one acronym, 10 years ago. Well, guess what? There's the same type of thing for piano. Like acronyms, like flashcards, like flowcharts, there are different strategies for piano that help you learn stuff way faster, different loopholes. And that's the third thing you really have to know. And the fourth thing is implementing it into an actual song, the fourth ingredient. Now, it's really cool if you can play some crazy fast arpeggio run, but what's the point of playing that if you can't sit down and actually put it into a song and make it sound cool? At the end of the day, that's what you have to need, that's what you're gonna need to know, and I'll talk a lot more about implementation later on in this video. All right, so now I wanna talk a little bit about the Lego block method and how you can learn a song in 10 minutes on piano. All the covers, if you've seen my YouTube channel, I put up 1 or 2 a week, and I learn these things in 10 to 20 minutes, tops. And people think it takes me hours of practice time. Now here's how it works. Okay, it's called the Lego block method. You remember those little Lego blocks you used to play with as kids, So what you wanna do is think of your song in terms of separate Lego blocks instead of one chunk. So for example, if I'm learning a song, the melody, that's gonna be one Lego block, right? Then the harmony, the left-hand part, is gonna be another Lego block. And you're gonna have a third Lego block, which is your intros, your outros, your transitions. And you're gonna have a fourth Lego block, which is any kind of trills, runs, just any little flares you kind of add on to your piece. Now here's the trick. Instead of learning songs just as a whole and copying the whole song, you learn the individual Lego blocks really good, and you can reuse those same Lego blocks in multiple songs. So here's what I mean. Let's say for your left hand, you learn a couple left hand patterns. And I'll teach you more about the left hand patterns a little later, but you learn a couple left hand patterns, and then you learn it with one song, right? So you take this Lego block, put them together. Now you have another song. So the next song you play, you can still use this exact same Lego block left hand pattern with the new song, and it'll sound awesome. But here's the thing, you already learned this left hand pattern Lego block, so you don't have to practice it anymore. So all you have to practice is the melody. Now the melody is the easy part, right? Usually the hard part is getting the melody to match up with the left hand pattern because you have to play both. But you already know this really well, so maybe 20 minutes you can learn these together. And then you play another song, and by the 6th or 7th song, you don't even have to think about this left hand block. You're playing it in your sleep, You're playing your left hand pattern, doing Sudoku with your right hand, and it's that easy, So what you want to do is learn all these other Lego blocks besides the melody. So you learn a couple left hand pattern Lego blocks, you learn a couple flare Lego blocks, meaning little arpeggio runs, little octave sweeps, and you learn a couple transitions, intros, and outro Lego blocks. And once you have all those, all you have to do, you sit down, you learn the melody of the song, which might take, 20 minutes, and then you put all the other Lego blocks, connect them, and you got your whole song. Now I want to teach you how to learn each individual Lego block. That's what Project Captivate is kind of about, and I'll talk about more about that later, but I also want to tell you about some of the hidden perks of learning by the Lego block method, and some of the things you might not have thought about that make it way better to learn this way as opposed to the traditional, reading sheet music type of way. So basically, I was at a point in my piano life where I realized something that just killed me. It used to take me, 2 weeks, maybe a month to learn a song. So I'd learn a song, the old-fashioned way, breaking up into parts, practicing measure by measure until I had the whole thing memorized. And then I practiced another song, and within a year I'd learn maybe 12 to 20 songs within a year. So let's say I learned 15 songs. Now here's the part that sucks about that. Now you go back and you say, what about that first song I learned? Maybe I should play it. You go back and you can't play it. You can't remember that first song you played. It's entirely different from the last 2 songs. To learn that song, you have to re-practice it. And that used to piss me off because I'd be like, man, I practiced that thing for weeks and I can't even play it. Well, how about the second song I learned? Can't play that either. Third song, can't play it, can't play it, can't play it, can't play it. The only songs I can actually still play are the last 2 songs I learned typically. And that's what the old-fashioned way of learning, and that sucks. And I felt like I was just wasting so much time learning piano because I could only play a couple songs. Well, here's the cool thing about the Lego block method. You're learning the Lego blocks individually. So this left hand pattern you used in song 1, you might use that song in song 4, in song 5, in song 8, and song 15. So that Lego block method, or Lego block, you still have memorized. You don't have to still remember it from song 1. And guess what? That arpeggio pattern you learned in song 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, and 11 that you used in that, you still remember that. So now you're putting these blocks together, you can still play that first song you played. Now you have 15 songs in your repertoire. Whenever I get asked to do, Christmas parties, and someone's like, hey, can you learn like one of them, the guy really liked John Denver songs. And he was like, oh, can you learn like 15 John Denver songs for this Christmas party? And it's like, yeah, no big deal, because all I have to do is learn the melody, and I just put in some Lego blocks, and I have that song learned. And it's really the secret to learning and actually remembering all these songs. Now, there's also another little perk, another little benefit, and it has to do with performance anxiety. Now, let me tell you, I used to have the worst performance anxiety. I couldn't even play in front of my family, right? It'd be like my grandpa and my brother and my cousins, and they'd be like, Zach, you play piano, play for us, and I try to weasel my way out of it. I'd be like, nah, I'm not warmed up, I'm not ready to play, and I'd be scared. And if I would play, I would mess up like crazy. And I used to wonder, why am I messing up so much? How, it used to suck because I'm practicing so much in the practice room, and I can't even play for people. And what's the point of even learning piano if you can't play for other people? Now with the Lego block method, think about it like this. You don't just know your songs, you know them super well, because that Lego block you practiced in song 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10, you know that block so well. These left-hand patterns you know so well, you can do them in your sleep. So when you're playing in front of people, it's basically like playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, you're playing stuff that's super easy for you to do because you've played it, all the blocks separately, so many times. Here's another perk. It's how people improvise. If you ever wondered how people can just seem to make stuff up, guess what? Their left hand, they're playing something in their left hand that they've played hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of times, and all they have to do is improvise with the right hand. That's the secret to how people can improvise so good. Now, before I go on and show you the lessons, I want to tell you about a kind of fear I had when I was learning this. I used to be always scared that people would catch me, that people would say, man, Zach, you're pretty good, but you're using that same left-hand pattern for every song. And I ended up learning 5 different left-hand patterns. Now I have about 5 that I consistently use for my videos. Let me tell you, my channel has been viewed over 1 million times. I've never once had somebody say that. Because guess what? People, for one thing, they don't care. If it sounds good, it sounds good. For another thing, what I realized is every song, it has a different tempo, it has a different feel, it has a different melody. So even if you're using and reusing these same left-hand patterns, honestly, nobody is going to even notice and nobody is going to even care. All right, so enough with the chit chat. Let's get into the actual lesson so I can show you how it works and how you actually learn this stuff. All right, so I got my computer right here. I'm going to do a little screenshot so you guys can see exactly how this course is organized. All right, so here we are at Piano University. Now, if you go under Technique course, there's going to be Project Captivate Part 1 here, Project Captivate Part 2 here, and then these are all the individual lessons of the course. So let me just show you how one of these kind of is organized in the big scheme of things. So a lot of people, they ask me about my left-hand patterns. That seems to be my most commonly asked questions. They want to know what I'm doing with my left hand. So here's a lesson on left-hand patterns. Comes with 3 video lessons, key points, PDFs. I'm going to go over all this in a sec. So let's just start right at the top. So first, estimated time to learn, 1 to 4 weeks, 10 minutes a day. So what you do with this is you pick different things you want to learn, and for each thing you want to learn, you only practice them 10 minutes a day. So how this basically works is you add 10-minute blocks into your practice routine. So when I first started out with this, I would do 10 minutes before I practice and 10 minutes after I practice. And I pick one thing from each. So maybe I picked a left-hand pattern that I'll practice before I practice my song, and I'll do an arpeggio run that I practice after my song. So that way, I'm learning 2 things at the same time, and within a month, just 10 minutes a day, so it doesn't take up too much of your practice time, you'll have 2 learned. Now, it depends how hard you want to go with it. So if you want to, for example, learn 6 of these different things, you could do what I did for a while, which I would wake up, do a 10-minute block, then before my first class in the college, I do a 10-minute block. After my first class, another 10-minute block. Before I practice, 10 minutes. After I practice, 10 minutes. And then right before I went to bed, another one. So I would literally have like 10-minute blocks just interspersed throughout the day. That way I could learn all this stuff super fast. And that's how I learned all this stuff in about 3 to 4 months. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, that's a long time to learn all this stuff, 3 or 4 months. When you really think about it, once you learn this, it's like an investment, right? Once you learn this, then you can learn songs super fast, but you have to put the time in and the investment first to learn all this stuff by itself. All right, so that's the first thing, the estimated time to learn. Then there's gonna be a little paragraph kind of explaining what it is. And here's the important part. It's gonna say, click here to watch the arpeggio left-hand patterns in action. So if you click this, it's gonna drop down and it's gonna show a bunch of videos of me actually using this in real songs, in real life situations from my YouTube channel. And I think this is really important because, one, when you're deciding which of these you want to learn, because you might not want to learn all of them, you might want to just learn, 3 or 4 left-hand patterns on an arpeggio run. Then you can click the video, see exactly what it sounds like, and see if it's something that's worth it for you to learn. And also you can see if it's something that fits your personality. If you like the smooth and sensitive, beautiful sound, well, you might click left-hand pattern 1 and decide it's not for you, but maybe pattern 2 is something that you would really like. So all of the lessons have this little watch them in action thing, and it's also a good way to get ideas on how to play them when you put them into actual songs. Now it's the meat of the lesson. So now these are the actual video lessons. So this first lesson is ingredient 1. Remember we talked about that. So that's going to be the actual notes. I'm going to show you exactly what notes to play. It's just going to be an overhead of the piano. I'm going to be like, play C, E, G, and you're going to see in slow motion everything I do. Next part is going to be, remember that second step, form and technique. Now this video is the most important out of these 3 videos, so make sure you watch it if you take the course. And it's going to show you, remember, the correct motion to play, the correct form to use, so you can speed this up to a fast speed and not get frustrated with it. And then this third video is going to show you the accelerated learning techniques. Remember that was ingredient number 3? So it's going to show you basically all those strategies like acronyms and flashcards, except for piano, to help you learn it really fast. Strategies like rhythms, added note strategy. There's a bunch of them. I have a whole book on them, but I'm giving some of them away in this course when they relate to these exact exercises. Then there's going to be a section on the key points, just in case you go through all the videos, you're practicing, and you kind of forget. You want to make sure you're on the right track, and you don't want to watch all these videos over again. You can go back to this page and just look at the key points and make sure you're doing the right things. Then there's going to be PDFs, and every lesson has PDFs that are just kind of helpful little PDFs that'll help you learn this stuff faster. So let me give you some examples. So, for example, here's a major chords cheat sheet PDF. So I just put all the major chords, and they're highlighted in green. So because I want you guys to be able to focus on the technique and not theory for this. I don't want you trying to learn all this stuff and learn theory too at the same time. If you want to learn the theory, learn that as kind of a separate block, but it's too overwhelming if you learn everything at the same time. So you can just see real quick, I want to play an E major arpeggio run. Okay, well here's the notes of E major. And I have a bunch of other, I have fingerings, the correct fingerings for arpeggio, scales. I also have stuff like this, the emotional quadrants. And this is it's more of a conceptual thing on basically what left-hand patterns to add, what kind of arpeggio runs to add to get certain sounds out of your playing. If you want an emotional sound, if you want an epic sound, you want a flowing sound, here's what you do with it. There's also, let's see, this is the technique booster. I'll get more into this later. This is one of the bonuses. I also have 2 bonuses associated with this course. I'll talk about those later, but first let me finish this up. So then there's going to be an action step, which is basically, here's exactly what you should do now. Because you could watch all these videos and talk to your friends about them and everything, but you won't get better until you literally sit down at the piano, actually take action, and do this. All right, so that's what these lessons are. So if you go back up to the technique course, that's all like, these lessons are all formatted like this. This is the intro, so it's going to be obviously a little different. And then all of these are going to be formatted the same way. And now there's also going to be 2 other lessons, training plan and implementing into a song. So training plan is just going to be a lesson on basically the fastest way to learn this. So now you have all these that you can learn. Things like, what's the best order to learn them in? Which ones are the easiest? What keys should I learn them in? Stuff like that. It's definitely a video you should watch if you take the course. It'll just help you speed up your progress a little bit. And then there's also a very important lesson, implementing into a song. So this is the lesson how to take all this stuff that you learn, step by step. I walk you through how to implement it into a song. And I actually take a song in this video and say, okay, here's how I learned it. Step 1, learn the song bare bones. Step 2, I add this. Step 3, I add this. And I go through the entire thing, how to add it into a song. And this video is more of just like how to pick the correct, the emotional quadrant. It was the thing I was talking about before, how to correct the correct left-hand patterns, the correct arpeggio runs to get a certain emotion out of a song. And then, more PDFs just like the other ones. And one of the last things I want to talk about, and I think this is really, really, really important. On the left-hand side of other stuff, there's going to be a contact me button. And if you click that, it's going to bring you a page where you can ask me if you're having any trouble. Because I know a lot of these courses, it's just kind of, there's no interaction, and if you have trouble, it's just like, well, you better go figure it out. And I don't want this to be one of those courses. I want this to be a legit course where if something's going wrong, you can figure it out. And all you got to do is, put in your name, put in your email, and put in what you need help with. Hit submit, and the email will go to me, and I'll answer within, 1 to 2 days. Because I know some of you, like, you're gonna have issues. Like, no matter how good I make these video lessons, there's always gonna be something specific that you don't understand or you don't get. And I want to be there for you every step of the way. So there's gonna be this contact me for anytime you need help. The support tab is just for, like, if you're having problems, like you forgot your username or your lessons, you got logged out, and something like that. That's what the support tab's for. If you want to cancel at any time, if you're doing the monthly option, you want to. By the way, let me just say, there's going to be a couple different options on how pricing options. If you want to do the monthly option, there is no like you're booked in for a year. Like, if you want to do it for a month and you just want to go ham and practice hard for that month and cancel, like, I won't be mad at you. I think people think I'm going to be like disappointed if they cancel. Look, if you want to do that, like, more power to you. Like, that's a go-getter attitude. If you want to just go ham and learn all this stuff as fast as you can, like, by all means, go ahead and do it. And I have one of the lessons below as a free lesson in case you want to just test drive the program, see if you think it'll be right for you. So I have that right below as well. It's 100% free. All right, I also want to tell you about a couple bonuses that I have that come with Project Captivate. But before I do, I want to tell you who this course is not for, and I want to make sure you're only going to get this course if it's somebody that it fits exactly what you want to do. Now, if you only want to play classical music, if that's your dream to be the next big guy playing, touring across America and just playing Beethoven songs, like, honestly, this course is not for you. Please don't get it. It's not going to be helpful to you. This is for people who want to learn stuff like pop, jazz, contemporary people that want to learn to improvise, to compose, make up their own music. That's more who this course is aimed for. This course is also not for you, honestly, if you're the type of person who's just looking for a quick fix or a magic bullet type of program. I know you guys have all seen those ads where it's like, learn piano in 30 days. And it's some guy up there and he's bouncing around and they give you, and everybody knows it's a bunch of BS. You're not gonna master the piano in 30 days. It's gonna take some effort, it's gonna take some time. And you saw exactly how much time it's gonna take. You take your 10-minute blocks, and it's just up to you how many blocks you wanna put in your practice schedule and how consistent you wanna be. But it's still about that consistent practice and doing the little things right, like taking the form, always practicing with the right form, always using the accelerated learning techniques. And it's all about that. It's an investment. That's what it really is. It's like, if you want to sell lemonade, you can go to the bottom of your driveway and sell lemonade, and you'll probably make some money, but every time you want to sell lemonade, you got to go to the bottom of your driveway and sell more lemonade, as opposed to buying a vending machine where it might take, a couple months saving up money so you can invest in that vending machine. But once you have that vending machine, you don't have to do any more work and you can sell a bunch of lemonade. It's the same way with this. You might spend 3 or 4 months learning all this stuff, but then once you have it learned, now you can learn songs in 10 minutes. Now you can learn songs in, that are a lot more complex than songs you learned before. So if you're a classical person, if you're someone who's not really, that committed and you're really not gonna take it seriously, I guess, then honestly, like, I'd hate for you to waste your money buying this course. All right, so I have the pricing options down below, but before you click that button, I wanna tell you guys about a couple bonuses I'm gonna be offering with the course. So the first bonus is my ebook, Lightning Fast Piano Scales. It hit Amazon #1 bestseller for music techniques when I first released it. And it is a book I'm really proud of writing, but it's super specific and it's just about scales. It literally teaches you the step-by-step process I use to ramp up my scale speed from slow to fast. It comes with a little training plan that's similar to my Piano Superhuman training plan. And it also comes with an audiobook version in case you want to listen to it while you're driving to work. I just wanted to give you guys something else so that while you're not actually at a piano, you can still be learning this stuff. You can still be immersing yourself in piano and learning some aspects. So, while you're driving to work, if you have a couple minutes between classes, you can be reading the book or listening to the audiobook. And if you decide to cancel this at any point, you get to keep the free ebook, keep the free audiobook. I'm not gonna go back and try to charge you for that, so that's fine. All right, now the second bonus is you're actually gonna get free access as well to my beginner's piano technique and my advanced pianos technique course. Now the Project Captivate stuff, this is the fun stuff, right? This is the flashy, the stuff that's just gonna wow people, the stuff that you're probably excited to learn. But this honestly would not be a complete technique course unless I included the fundamentals. And I don't want this to be a hype program where you learn a bunch of stuff, but you're still not really good at piano. So I felt like I kind of had to include these also with it. So basically, these are a series of drills. Think of it as another 10-minute block, but this just works on basic fundamental things, just finger strength, finger dexterity, coordination, stuff like that. If you have those problems with you just don't feel at home and comfortable on the keys, this is what that is gonna kind of teach you how to do. It's gonna show you like stuff like, some people have real weak pinkies. I used to have a weak pinky for a while, and then my piano teacher showed me like, oh, here's these drills you do, and if you do these drills 10 minutes a day for a couple months, like your pinky will be solid. And now I've never had issues with that again. So it's kind of more the fundamentals of learning. So there's beginners, and you go through all the beginners technique stuff, and you practice all that stuff for a couple months, and then you move on to the advanced. And the advanced obviously just ramps up the beginner's technique to the whole nother level, but it's all about how to get just rock solid fundamental technique. All right, so if you're interested in taking your piano game to that next level, go ahead and click the pricing options below button. I also wanted to let you know that this program comes with a complete 100% 60-day money-back guarantee. Look, if this doesn't help you, like, I really don't want to take your money. Like, I'm not that type of person, and it's super easy to ask for a refund. All you have to do is go to that support tab I talked about before and just enter it in there. I know, like, a lot of these online programs, they try to hide it, and that you have to click through like 6 links and email 3 different people if you want a refund or if you want to cancel. Like, I want to run an honest business, an honest piano business, and I want to make a living the honest way. So if you ever, if it didn't do it for you, or if it didn't help you, please ask me for a refund and I'll refund you right away. Or if you ever want to cancel, you have 100% freedom to do so. So I want you guys to be able to try this 100% risk-free. All right, so if you want to get access to all this stuff, the lessons, the PDFs, the training plans, all you got to do, hit that pricing options below button and sign up today.